Caitlin Clark, we played them, and she almost dropped 50 points. That's besides the point. We won. I want to be the player that maybe tries my best to shut down the best players every night. So she's definitely one of the ones on that team. So
it's the ugly nonsense. It's the BS.
Disaster. What an embarrassing disaster for both ESPN and the WNBA.
What aspects of her game would you like to work with her on for this season?
Yeah, I mean, certainly getting stronger was one. The level of physicality in the W is totally different.
It just happened, and fans everywhere are stunned. A bold challenge has been thrown Caitlin Clark's way, and it's coming from none other than rookie sensation Saniya Rivers.
We've played it before. I want to play again. I'm going to show her what I got right now. I ain't ducking the smoke.
In a league already overflowing with tension and rivalry, Rivers didn't hold back for even a second. In front of cameras, she looked straight into the lens and made it crystal clear. She wants to shut Caitlin Clark down. No hesitation, no fear, just a pure competitive fire.
It's just a part of the game. So there was no targeting, there was no nothing.
Right.
That narrative that got spun into, the vets hate the rookies hate the vets are going after certain players. It's all bullshit. Like, if I'm just gonna be frank, it's all bullshit.
But is this just a rookie trying to make a name for herself? Or is there something deeper going on here? Has Clark's growing dominance in the WNBA triggered a new wave of hostility from rising stars?
And we got a long-term kind of list, but Caitlin, I remember from the very first day when we were working on balance and we were working on footwork and we were looking at all those things, from day one to day two, she had it.
Wow.
Like she's a perfectionist.
Today, we break down the full story behind Saniya's viral comments, how this fuels the ever-growing rivalry around Caitlin Clark, and why this might just ignite one of the most explosive matchups of the season.
There are PR people who request to not be asked about Caitlin Clark or to not talk about Caitlin Clark, and that has happened.
Buckle up, because this isn't just about basketball anymore. This is personal. If you're a true Caitlin Clark fan, type CC 100% in the comments to let the world know you've got her back. Saniya Rivers didn't just drop a casual comment, she made a statement. In front of the media, with all eyes on her, she brought up one specific player when asked which matchup she was most excited about in the WNBA. Without hesitation, she said, Indiana. And why? Because of Caitlin Clark.
Once again, Sia Rivers, who's coming in from NC State, had to say about Caitlin Clark.
Let's go with Indiana. Why not? I tell the story every time. Caitlin Clark, we played them my sophomore year, and she almost dropped 50 points. That's besides the point. We won. So I always said we won. But no, I always said that I would love the opportunity to match up with her again, because I feel like my defense has grown since then and my confidence has grown. So I want to be the player that maybe tries my best to shut down the best players every night. So she's definitely one of the ones on that team. So I would love the opportunity to match up. Caitlin's going to be Caitlin. She's going to hit shots, but I'm not going to get, I'm not going to get in my head. I'm just going to keep stepping up, and I would love to slow her down a little bit.
She is now joining the Connecticut Sun.
Rivers took us back to a college game where Clark nearly dropped 50 points on her team. But instead of dwelling on that, she proudly reminded everyone that her squad won that night. Still, that game left a mark. And now, with both players in the WNBA, Saniya wants redemption. She looked into the camera and said she's grown since then. Her defense has improved, her confidence is stronger, and she wants the chance to shut Caitlin Clark down. Those were her words. I want to be the player that maybe tries my best to shut down the best players every night.
What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing the way that any other best player, franchise player is going to get played.
Mm-hmm. Caitlin's going to be Caitlin. She's going to hit shots, but I'm not going to get in my head. I would love to slow her down a little bit. And then came the part that sent shockwaves through fans. I ain't ducking the smoke. That one sentence lit up social media. It was fearless. It was personal. And it instantly added fuel to what could become one of the WNBA's fiercest new rivalries.
That's all you can do is, hold your head high, be proud of what you did, and,
What makes this even more striking is how voluntary it was. Saniya wasn't baited into this. No reporter pushed her into naming names. She brought up Clark herself. That shows just how much Caitlin Clark lives rent-free in the minds of her competitors, even the incoming rookies.
Black players have decided, hey, we're going to hate on Caitlin Clark constantly to elevate ourselves, but also trigger her fans so that they'll keep coming to games and rooting for her, and it's going to elevate the entire league.
You know, if you do go into a game with Clark and hold your own, or hell, get the best of her on that night, then that can really amplify your profile.
In a league where PR teams often try to manage what rookies say, Saniya took the mic and flipped the script. While some players in the past have asked not to be questioned about Caitlin, Rivers went in the opposite direction. She welcomed the challenge. She wants the spotlight, and that says a lot about the fire this new generation is bringing and about how Clark's presence is reshaping the mentality across the league. Sia Rivers isn't the only rookie with her sights set on Caitlin Clark, and that's no coincidence.
She was remarkable on top of the fact that she had to deal with so much hate when she got to the WNBA.
Since Clark entered the league, she's become more than just a talented player. She's become the benchmark, a test, a target. And every rookie with something to prove sees her as the ultimate challenge.
Rivalries in the sense of Reese versus Clark on the basketball court. All of that stuff makes sports better.
Take Hailey Van Lith, for example. Now reunited with Angel Reese on the Chicago Sky, Hailey's entering the league with history on her side and unfinished business in her mind.
Give flowers to the legend. We're going to start Diana Taurasi. I'm going to bench Sabrina and cut Caitlin.
Their college matchups with Clark drew massive attention, and now the WNBA gets round two. The Sky versus the Fever is no longer just another regular season game. It's become a showdown that fans circle on their calendars.
Hailey Van Lith and Angel Reese are set to rejoin forces on the court this summer.
Energy with Courtney Vandersloot. You can learn from her. You're paired back with Angel Reese. There's some good energy you can walk into in Chicago, right?
Oh, I love that energy. We're ready.
All right. Thank you so much.
Then there's Georgia Amore, now with the Washington Mystics. She's part of that same wave of high-level college players who followed Clark's rise and are now looking to establish their own identity on the pro stage. When players like Citron, Irion, and Lucy Olson step onto the court, they're not just trying to fit in. They're coming in with the mindset of making a statement. And who better to make that statement against than the player who's been dominating headlines since the day she was drafted?
Michaela Timpson, who talked about joining the Indiana Fever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she reached out to me yesterday, and we always been talking, you know, and she told me like earlier last year that she wanted to play with me, and this was before she went to the Fever. So, I mean, I guess she's spoken into existence, you know, but yeah, we've been talking and she's been giving me a lot of pointers, and I'm just super excited to be with someone who I know. Oh yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. I mean, she's a great point guard. You know, she set the tone for the league last year. You know, she had an incredible rookie season, so I'm just excited to play with her.
Caitlin Clark has unintentionally created a proving ground. When a rookie performs well against her, it instantly puts them on the map. Just holding your own against Clark in a nationally televised game can elevate your reputation overnight. And if you actually outplay her, that's career-defining.
I think one thing that Clark doesn't get enough credit for is her athleticism. She's a freak athlete, the best guard finishing at the rim last year. I believe she finished at the rim better than A'ja Wilson.
What's even more intriguing is how these rivalries are being embraced by fans and promoted by teams. The Dallas Wings didn't hesitate to market their game against the Fever with Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers front and center, even though Bueckers hasn't played a WNBA minute yet.
Clark is going against Paige and Dejanay. ESPN today, when they were talking about Paige, one of them says, I think Paige will be a good player this year, but I'm not expecting a Caitlin-like impact, and that's an unfair bar to set. Dallas Wings using the promo poster of Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark to hype that game up.
That tells you everything you need to know about the power of these storylines. These aren't just games anymore. They're events. They're chapters in an unfolding saga that starts with college basketball and explodes onto the WNBA stage. The rivalries are becoming deeper, the storylines richer, and the stakes higher. And rookies like Saniya Rivers know that one good night against Clark doesn't just make headlines, it creates legacy.
Stephanie White will have different ideas on how to use Caitlin Clark, including putting her off ball at sometimes, so she can come around and give the defense a different look, maybe catch and shoot. And then, of course, you put the ball in her hands and let her cook.
Saniya Rivers may have thrown the first punch in this brewing rivalry, but make no mistake, Caitlin Clark isn't the type to back down. If anything, challenges like this are exactly what fuel her. And the Indiana Fever are evolving fast to make sure she's ready, not just to survive in the league, but to dominate it.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
Under new head coach Stephanie White, everything is changing. Gone is the outdated, predictable offensive system that failed to maximize Clark's potential in her rookie year. Instead, White is bringing a dynamic new approach, one that not only gives Clark more tools to thrive, but also protects her from being overworked.
This is what Stephanie White had to say.
Caitlin Clark, you have a generational talent. Sometimes that word is thrown around, but I think it's really fitting here. What aspects of her game would you like to work with her on for this season?
Yeah, I mean, certainly getting stronger was one. You know, the level of physicality in the W is totally different. You know, that's the way that teams have to try to keep her off balance, keeping a low center of gravity. You know, there are times where she plays a little bit upright, making sure core strength and her ability to move with time under tension and stay in a low center of gravity is important. You know, I think from just a straight basketball perspective, making sure that we help her diversify, you know, her finishing ability, diversify in the way that it's not predictable, to be able to be equal in terms of production and facilitation going right and left, to be able to have different types of finishing looks, whether it's, you know, crossbody finishes, whether it's floaters at the rim, whether it's quick floaters, long floaters, you know, Euros. You can't quite be as fundamentally predictable with as much athleticism, speed, quickness, and as much as the game plan is going to be geared toward her. And then I think the challenge for us as coaches is how do we get her rest when she's on the floor while she's playing, right? Like while she's on the floor. And some of that's going to be playing off ball, utilize her as a screener, getting her into action on the third and fourth side instead of the first and second, where it's easy to game plan against. Now, how we use her to help everybody else be better off the ball. We know how great she is with the ball in her hands. We're not going to take that away, but we've got to be able to diversify a bit in how we use her. So from those kind of challenges as well. I mean, we've got like a short-term kind of list and we got a long-term kind of list, but Caitlin, you know, I remember from the very first day when we were working on balance and we were working on footwork and we were looking at all those things from day one to day two, she had it.
Wow.
Like she's a perfectionist and she wants it and she's going to work on it. So that long list might get shorter every day we're in practice.
She's got a new coach who knows what to do.
Because let's be honest, last season, Caitlin was expected to do everything. Run the offense, take the shots, defend, lead. It was a lot for a rookie. Now, the strategy is smarter. Stephanie White has talked about putting Clark off the ball at times, letting her use screens, catch and shoot, and rest in game without having to sit. She's working with Clark on balance, core strength, and even her finishing diversity, adding floaters, Euro steps, and unpredictable drives to her arsenal. These aren't just minor tweaks, they're game changers, and that's exactly what makes Rivers' comments so bold. Clark isn't just the same player who nearly dropped 50 on her in college. She's stronger, smarter, and surrounded by upgraded talent. Teammates like Kelsey Mitchell, Nalissa Smith, and now Natasha Howard give Indiana more speed, versatility, and transition power. This isn't just Caitlin versus the world anymore. It's Caitlin leading a real contender.
She shoots logo threes, passes the ball like Magic Johnson, scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists. She's a great, great player, and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. So there's the attraction to the exciting style of play.
But even with all these improvements, the target on Clark's back keeps getting bigger. The pressure doesn't fade, it intensifies. And it's not just about scoring now, it's about navigating through double teams, trash talk, and hard fouls from players who want to make a name for themselves by stopping her. That's why this Sia Rivers moment matters. Because it represents more than just one player calling out another. It symbolizes the new WNBA landscape, a league where rookies walk in ready for war and stars like Caitlin Clark must rise above every challenge, night after night, with millions watching.
There's so many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlin Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
You know, next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but, you know, continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next season.
So there you have it. Saniya Rivers just lit the fuse on what could become one of the most intense rookie versus superstar rivalries the WNBA has ever seen. Her fearless words weren't just talk, they were a declaration of war. And with Caitlin Clark leveling up under a smarter system, with stronger teammates, and a coach who's unlocking her full potential, this showdown is going to be must-watch basketball.
It almost felt like marketers were trying to figure out, like, yeah, we have all of these amazing players and these amazing personalities, but can we push the demographic? And then when Caitlin Clark got to the league, the Angel Reeses got to the league, and they might have been fouled hard. The same thing I saw happen with Shamika Holdsclaw, though.
You see my tooth knocked out?
Yeah,
Rookie season, Jewel Lloyd. My tooth knocked out. I still didn't get it.
So how do you?
It's cool.
T-Clark, how do you feel about the fact that all of a sudden it was, oh, it's too physical. Oh, they're going at him because they're stars. What was your reaction to some of the new viewers and fans to the game thinking that the WNBA was too rough?
It was a crazy season because we have never had so much momentum behind our league, so much support, demand, viewership, all that, accessibility. But the craziness that came with the new fandom was rooted in something other than fandom, right? And I think that's very evident to see across the board. In a lot of ways, it has not been about basketball. Like, we can talk about, you know, people getting fouled. I just showed you my tooth getting knocked out. Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical. I can tell you the amount of times I've left with bloody lips and eyes. I have bruises all over my body, even from the game last night. You can see bruises on my elbow from last night. Like, it's just a part of the game. So there was no targeting. There was no nothing.
Right.
That narrative that got spun into, oh, the vets hate the rookies hate the vets are going after certain players. It's all bullshit. Like, if I'm just gonna be frank, it's all bullshit. What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league the way that any other best player, franchise player is gonna get played. Watch how Stewie gets played. Watch how Asia gets played. Watch how Enrique gets played. Watch how Khalid gets played. Go down the list of franchise players for every team. They be getting fucked up every game. It don't matter what position you are, what color you are, what school you came out of. This is how we feed our families. Our job is to go and win, and if we don't win, what happens? We get fired. We lose our jobs. So
facts. Caitlin Clark is getting mauled, no calls. Ryan Clark is a clout chaser that stinks at sports commentary. His co-hosts aren't worth mentioning. Natasha Cloud, a.k.a. Natasha Clown, is running the race baiting media because she's average at best in the W, and now she's stuck in Connecticut because she stinks.
But here's the question. Will Rivers back up her words on the court? Or will Clark remind everyone why she's the face of the league? Let me know in the comments. Who wins this battle? Team Caitlin or Team Saniya? And don't forget, if you're still here and you're riding with Caitlin Clark all the way, drop CC 100% down below so we know you're part of the movement. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because this rivalry is just getting started, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Most influential female athletes right now. Coco Gauff, 10. Juju Watkins, number 9. Cameron Brent, 8. Paige Beckers, number 7. Sabrina Ionescu, number 6. Asia Wilson. So Asia's not going to be happy either. Jakari Richardson was number 4. Simone Biles, number 3, right here. I can't quite get past the fact that Simone Biles is behind Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number 1. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number 1. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105% compared to games without her, while road games featuring her Indiana Fever see an 87% increase in opponent home attendance. Her rookie debut sparked a staggering 200% jump in WNBA viewership, while Fever home games drew a league-high 186,000 fans last season, a 265% increase from 2023.